Hello, my name is Trydar. Welcome back to the Subnautica tutorial series. This is part 4, and today we're going to be doing the moon pool, the flying fish, and the nether portal. I'll also be giving you a look at these reapers at the end here. So let's get started. We will first start over here with the moon pool. We'll take a look at the complete structure here. This is going to be very complicated. There's a lot of steps involved in building this one. So we will start down here, of course, with the feet. And down here, I should say before I start, I'm going to be describing how to build half of this. So in other words, from here is the center line. And if you place a block over here, you need to place the identical block on the mirrored side, because this building, except for these two antennae up here, is a mirror on both sides. So to make things a little clearer, that's what I'm going to be showing you here in the tutorial. So as I was saying, let's start off down here with the feet. And you probably will actually want to judge the height of the complete building so you can have your moon pool be underwater, because we can't have our moon pool above water. And once you set that height, you can extend down to the seafloor of whatever height your world is at, because it's going to be different for everyone. So you want to go down here and place your feet, and they are just 3 blocks by 3 blocks. And on the bottom here, we've got little obsidian indentations here with some cyan terracotta and some sea lanterns. Of course, I have used white concrete on this, and cyan terracotta, yellow concrete, and obsidian. And also light blue stained glass will be the materials you will need. So for these, just pause the video and take a look at the stages on the screen here so you can get a good view on what everything is at. Now we have some little banding here if we extend the legs up a bit. And at your final height up here, you will want to mirror the feet down there below. And this is going to be the base for starting the structure of the moon pool. As you can see here, I should probably measure some of these out. Now remember, over here, this is going to be where your center line is that I showed you. So from the center line, you want to go out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks for this. And there's a 2-block gap here, and you want to place a little white concrete and yellow concrete there. And on the side over here, you want to start placing what's going to be the bottom of these side rails that are on the building. Not really sure what they're there for, but they were on the reference model, so I constructed them. And from this, an easy way to get this measurement is to come out. It's so what? How many blocks from this? 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks, and then 1 block back. And then you can start running it out from there. And I should really measure this out for you. The total length of this from beginning to end is going to be 1, 2, 3, 25 blocks from end to end. So once you have placed that, you want to do the identical thing on this other end down here. And then we are ready to move on to the next stage. Now from here on out, the format of the tutorial, I've sort of glossed over the legs here because the height is going to depend on where you're building this. But from here on out, all stages are going to be 2 blocks tall, meaning each stage I show you is going to be 2 blocks taller than the previous stage. And this will serve as a guide to help you build the structure. So let's go around here, and we'll begin by putting in the floor. Now, you can use the yellow rails here as a guide for this step. And you want to look at what I've done here. I've just placed some some yellow concrete in like that with a 2-block gap. And there's 3 of those on this side. And immediately behind that, you want to have some cyan terracotta and some white concrete. made according to this pattern here on the bottom. And here on the sides, it's just a very simple band. I believe it's 5 blocks wide at this phase, except for some minor details we'll take a look at in a minute. And it's the same on this end as it was on the other end. There are some small details over here, by the way, on the inside to add some lights to the interior of your moon pool. And here is a cross-section view here. And here is going to be the interior here. And you'll want to make it according to this pattern here. Now, I should remark that if you don't feel like farming all the obsidian, you are, of course, free to use black concrete. Or you could also use black wool if you prefer. And the width from here to here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. And I believe the total width from here to here is also going to be 6 blocks, yes. So let me go up here and give you a good bird's eye view of this. And if you need to, just pause the video as I'm looking around the structure and build it according to the pattern that you see on the screen. Okay, with that phase done, I think I should give you one last good look around the bottom here, because we want to make sure we get this correct before we start building the rest of it. And then we can move on to building the rest of it, which this is going to include the tube exit here, by the way, on this end, which you want to make according to this pattern here. And from here, I think it's rather simple. You actually just want to start adding up cyan terracotta with 2 blocks tall. Remember, this is 2 blocks taller than the previous step. So I'll go around the sides here. You should have all your railing complete by this stage. And the real things on the insides here are going to be this here. And I believe this is going to be the floor level of the moon pool. And I think the water level is actually, I think I have it around here, or it might be around here. But it's probably going to be rather difficult to do. You're going to need a lot of dry sponges, assuming you're building this underwater. So the moon pool is going to be rather tricky to do. So you want to build it according to this pattern here on the inside. Give you a long, slow view of this. And it's the same on both ends. And here's the floor pattern in here. So take a good look at that. And then we will be ready to move on to the next step. Remember, we're going up 2 additional blocks. So from this here, we will be going up to this here on the inside for the entrance tube into the moon pool. Now, I've built this to only have one entrance on this end, but if you want an entrance on the other end, just mirror what you're seeing here. Or conversely, you could chop this out and put a window here and put the tube over here where one of the windows is, but I don't have a reference model of that to show you, so you will have to get creative when you're doing that. So for the side block pattern, you want to do this pattern here. And the windows along here. And if you don't want the windows, just replace the windows with white concrete. But I assume you will want the windows. And here's the back here. And we have the beginnings of the upgrade station back here. It's not very complicated, it's just a couple of blocks. And some glass back here. And you should have the sides all done. So there's a little bit over here for the railing, a little bit of yellow concrete, and the same up here. And this is going to be the ramp to get to your sea moth. Now, I'm not showing the sea moth yet. I'm showing this without the sea moth to start with. But if you want to, you can build a replica of a sea moth inside your moon pool or prawn suit. I'm leaving that up to you. I've already done the tutorials for those. So we move on around here. And I'll give you a good long look at this here. So you can look at it and replicate the block pattern that you see here. Okay, with that done, we're going up 2 more blocks. We'll start back over here at the tube entrance. You're pretty much just extending this up from the previous pattern. Same goes for the exterior according to this pattern here. And this should probably be the easiest phase because I think you're just extending the walls up another 2 blocks all the way around. And I think there's a little detail on the interior here. And it's pretty simple, so I'll go a little bit quicker over this part. Give you a good look at it here. And then we will move on to the next step. And now we're ready to start beginning the part where we finish the walls and start roofing it over. So let's go back around here. Take a look at, I believe this is almost the finished tube. So here's the exterior and the interior. And the sides. The tops of the windows here. The back side here is the same. A little bit of detail here. That should finish the upgrade console back here. If you don't want the console, you can just forget all of this and put straight white concrete in that section. And in the interior, you want to start adding a ledge of yellow concrete that will go all the way around the moon pool, like so. And look at it from above here. And there you go. So we will go up another 2 blocks, getting towards the interior. We've only got a few more stages left. For the exterior, I believe there's just a couple of blocks of cyan terracotta up here to finish the collar for the tube. And here's the exterior here. We're adding a few sea lanterns on the outside to help light up the exterior. And I believe it's just straight up on the sides here, like so. And on the interior here, you want to add a band of sea lanterns and glass, like you see here, following the yellow concrete pattern all the way around. And then immediately on top of the blue glass, just add some more white concrete, like so, and fill everything in. Now, if you have voids in your structure, like in here, that aren't visible, you can fill it in with cobblestone or leave it an air gap if you want to. Because this is going to be quite a lot of white concrete. Now, this part here is going to be the beginnings of the sort of robotic armature that will grab your sea moth and hold it up. And this is how many? It's from the center here. I believe that's 5 blocks. And you can align it off of the center here with that. And the center line that's running through the entire base, like that. And we'll start down here and give you a good look at this. And just replicate the pattern that you see here. It's just a little ring of white concrete with some details off on these sides here. And a couple of blocks of cyan terracotta on the ring, like so. And with that part done, we now start roofing over the entire structure. Let's start back over here on the edges. We're going to start putting in the rail bars on the top section now. They're identical in their spacing to the ones you previously built. So you can use that as a guide to help you build these. And you want to indent the section here of the white concrete and just set it back one block. And once you've done that, just come along the sides here. Do the same thing on the back. And then roof it over here. And we'll show you the interior we have going on here because we have some more hidden lighting here. Just build it like you see here. It's some sea lanterns and some glass in front of it. Go along the sides here. We've got a little bit more. And it's the same on this end. And I'll give you a good long look at the docking ring we have up here. I believe you just put another ring of cyan terracotta that's mirroring the white concrete there. And then you want to put some sea lanterns in the ceiling, which is just solid cyan terracotta, like so. But in the upper parts, you want to put a ring of glass and sea lanterns, like this. Okay, let's move on up. We should be putting the final sections of the roof on this segment. As you can see, we're going up 2 more blocks. We finished the rails up here. We set the roof back another block. We finished the rails on this side over here. And on the back, it's the same. And the roof here, you want to fill it in and build it out according to this pattern here. As you can see, all you do is you put a band of cyan terracotta around the edges, and you want to have a central section of white concrete. And I believe this is 3 blocks wide. I think the other might be 4 or 5. It's 5 blocks wide here. And once you've done that, you then want to put on top this section of cyan terracotta here with a couple of sea lanterns, because from here we can immediately jump over to the next segment. And you want to put a little light blue glass on that, a small detail of orange concrete, and a little bit more down here on the ends to represent the sensor domes and antennas. And build it according to this pattern here. And once you've done that, I believe the only thing left is on top of where these are. That's actually the beginning of your antenna. And just build it like so. Now on these, I believe I actually changed the heights of one antenna from the others. This is going to be the only thing on this building that is slightly asymmetric. So I'll go down here and show that to you. So this is really what your antenna on the top should be like. And just build it according to that pattern there. And I believe that will wrap up the tutorial for the moon pool. And next we will do the flying fish after I come around here and give you a good side view of the completed structure. so you can see the entire thing in profile. And what you've built should look like this. It's probably going to take you quite a while to build. But hopefully I've gone slow enough and shown you everything that you need to build it accurately. And I think I should go over here and show you a completed example in the base over here to show you where the sea moth is going to be located. So if we peek in the window here, we can see we have a sea moth that is docked currently. And you can just use the sea moth tutorial and build one right here. And the top of the sea moth should be one block below the docking ring here. And actually, you should ideally bend these arms down like that, either here or there, to attach to your sea moth on both ends somehow. I didn't exactly make a reference model of that. But I'm sure you will figure it out. So the next thing we're going to talk about is going to be my own personal creations. Now that we've done the official moon pool, we're going to do some things I have made for myself. We're going to do the nether portal in a minute after I talk about the flying fish. Because there aren't any flying vehicles in Subnautica, so I made one. And of course, keeping with the nautical theme, I called it the flying fish. And this is what it looks like here. As with the previous tutorials, I'm going to be showing you how to build half of this because it is symmetrical around the center line here. So let's get started with that. Down here, this is the 1 block tall. This is going to be the base of the flying fish here. I presume you'll want to have this floating in the air somewhere. And I should probably measure this out. From the tip to tail, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 16 blocks. And I believe it is 4 blocks wide. Well, including the center line here, it's 3 blocks on either side. So once you have that set up, we're going to go up 2 more blocks here. It's kind of a complicated shape. So I'll give you a good long look at the block patterns here. And you just want to replicate what you see on the screen. And of course, the entrance for this, by the way, is going to be back here. And this is the central floor of the ship. Got a little cargo area back here. And this is the front of it. And once you've done that, you want to continue building up the fuselage around like so. You want to start putting in the window here on the outside. The side windows here. And the back of the tail here. You've got a little entranceway here. The interior of the cargo hold. And over here, this is going to be your controls. I mean, this is what I use for controls, so you can just have to imagine that you're flying around and manipulating your controls. Because, I mean, it's Minecraft. You have to use your imagination with these things. But this is what the interior looks like here of your cockpit. So you want to make it according to this pattern here. And going up again, we get to the phase where we're going to start adding the rotors. So we want to go up 2 more blocks here. I probably should have changed this glass to blue wool, but there's not very much glass here, so hopefully you can see it. And you want to build it according to this pattern here. And when you get up to this part, you want to have the wings come out. I think they're 5 blocks wide at this stage. And let's finish going around the fuselage here before I show you the rotors. So you want to make it according to this pattern here. And do the tail coming out like this here. And this on the inside here. The cargo area here. And the cockpit here. And the rotors over here. Let me show you the bottom of those first. You've got our rotor blades on the inside made out of cyan terracotta. And you just want to build it like so. On the top and the bottom here. Alright, with that done, we've got 2 more phases left, I believe. Well, 1 really, I think. And this is the top of the cowling for the rotor blades here. And it's basically just a ring of white concrete. And on the top and the bottom there, those are identical here with the yellow concrete and the sea lantern. And here is the exterior of the top of the fuselage here. Go around the outside first. And just build it like you see here. And on the back also, we're now getting to the control surfaces on the back here. And you want to build it like so. And on the inside here, we will also have our cargo hold now enclosed. And I believe our cockpit is also now enclosed. And with that done, I think the only thing left from this phase is to add the little antenna, like so, a little simple 3-block tall antenna right there. And the wings on the back here. And build it like you see on the screen here. And once that is done, and you have mirrored it on both sides of the center line, you will then have a complete flying fish. Of course, if you're not interested in building the flying fish, but you do want to build the nether portal, we will now take a look at this. So, this is my design for a nether portal that is themed off the rest of the Subnautica technology. I've already done the alien portal, but I thought it would be worth doing one based off this palette. So let me give you a good look at this. It's got some stairs here. Of course, you can fill these sections in here with some quartz half slabs, or whatever half slab you want to use to make the ramp a little bit easier to go up and down. And on the interior here, you can see that it looks like it's an octagonal nether portal, but as with all my other nether portals, it's actually just a standard maximum sized 23 by 23 obsidian frame hidden on the inside of the portal here. So, to show you that this does work in vanilla, we'll light the portal there. And let's start down here at the bottom. So, this is going to be the bottom phase here. And I'll just give you a good look at this. I should count out some of this. This central section here is going to be 13 blocks from here to here. And with another 3 blocks off the back down there. But once you get this set up, And I should do the width here also. Now I'm doing this, it's got another center line on it. So this is the center line here, and from the center line it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks wide from there to there. So from here to here it's 7 blocks. And build it out according to the pattern that you see here. Alright, with that done, we're going up 2 blocks. And you want to build it like this. The front is fairly straightforward. It'd be very easy to replicate. The sides also. Once we get around here, we're going to start adding the portal itself down here. You want to extend all those blocks up. And build the side frames here. Should be pretty easy. With that done, we're going up 2 additional blocks. Every phase in this, it's going to be quite a few phases in this, but they're all going up for 2 blocks per phase, so I'll stop saying that. So we're making the ramp here. The interior here. The sides, like so. Looks a little complicated, but just take a long, slow look at it. I believe it's the same on the front and the back. So you just want to make it like you see on the screen here. And with that done, I think this is actually the base complete. You should have the ramp will be fully complete in this phase here. You will see that we are now leaving an indentation in the middle of the frame here to fit in our maximum sized portal. And here's what the front looks like here. And the sides, just a simple diagonal. And I believe the back is also the same as the front. Well, I mean, it gets more symmetrical as you go higher up. So the next part here, we want to take a look at the frame on this section. Just build it like you see. Remember, you have to leave the gap in between here all the way up. And I should also remark from this point, if you want to go ahead and build a maximum sized 23 by 23 block portal, you can do that starting from here, which is going to be your portal. And from here through the center line all the way to mirroring it on the other side over here is going to be 23 blocks. So that will help you as a guide when you're building this. So let's look at the sides here. I think I actually looked at that already. Let's go ahead and go to the next one over here. So we've got a little detail on the inside here. And just build it like you see here. It's just a couple of blocks. It's not that complicated. And with that done, we'll move on to the next stage here. I believe at this point we finish with the octagonal bit here. So I'll go ahead and measure this out for you from down here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks placed on top of that. If you want to check yourself as you're building the portal, because we don't want to build it incorrectly. And I think we just start extending these sides up along here, with just the glass detail there. And we'll move along up here, and we start getting to the side details here. And build them like you see here. And I'll give you a view on the top. And the next stage here, we're adding in some sea lanterns and glass. And you want to just mirror the cyan terracotta. I believe it's the same shape on this level as it is on that level. It'd be very simple. And once you get to this section, you're going to start noticing that this section here is mirrored up here, and that part there is going to be that part down there. So I'll give you a good look at this here. Because when I was building this, all I really did was I built 1/4 of this, and then I rotated it on the top, and then I mirrored it on the sides there. So as you can see, this part here is a mirror of this part that is down here. And it's also at this part we're going to start doing the top part of the octagon, represented by those obsidian blocks there, and extends longer around here. So I'll swing around here. The same on the front as it is on the back. And we'll go up over here. And build it like you see here. Remember to leave the gap on the inside for your portal. And at this point, we're almost done. This should be the top of your portal here. From the bottom down there to up here should now be 23 blocks. So you can measure that at this stage to make sure you've done it correctly. And start putting in the details that you see added here on the top. And it's the same on the front as it is on the back. And once that is done, we've got one more phase to go. We then want to add in the topmost details here. And they're the same on the front as they are on the back. And just build it like you see here. And once that is done, I think we're going to skip up, I think it's 2 or 3 more blocks to the end here, because it's really very simple. So I believe we were just looking at it. The top over there is at this level here. So you want to add the finishing details like you see done here. And the same around the back. And on top of that, you can just put some antenna like I've done here. Now, you don't really have to add the antenna if you don't want to. But that's a motif that I've kept doing with all of the Subnautica buildings. I've found a reason to put at least one antenna on everything. And just build them like you see here. And vary the height a little. I believe this is 4 blocks. And this is 1, 4, 6 blocks? But you can change the height of those to suit yourself. And once you have everything done there, you should then have the complete nether portal as you see here. And for the last thing today, I'm going to go over here and give you an up-close and personal view of my Reaper model. Which, I mean, you really never want to be this close to a Reaper. I mean, if you're this close to a Reaper, you've already been eaten by the Reaper. So you're going to have a bad day. These guys have destroyed more than one of my sea moss. Well, at least one. I actually lost count of how many sea moss I lost. But I'm going to give you a good view of it. I don't really know if I can do a tutorial for this because the shape is extremely complicated. And besides, it's a Reaper. Why would you want to build a Reaper? I will definitely be releasing a download of this, though, probably separately in its own little video, I think. But we have the side claws here, the very menacing teeth here, which, I mean, it's Minecraft, so I did my best to replicate menacing teeth. It's got 4 eyes, by the way, 2 on each side. The material palette I chose for this was what? Netherrack and nether wart and nether quartz, and I think red wool or a red coral would also work pretty well here. And of course, the eyes and the claws are all made of very tough obsidian. And I think for the body itself, what did I choose to use? I think I used some bone blocks over here for the teeth. And I think I used some diorite, some clay, some white concrete. But I'll give you a good view of the body back here. I think the Reaper I ended up building to get the right level of detail is probably like twice as big as it should be. But that just makes it all the more scary. It's got the side long fins down here. I don't really know if they're arms. They look more like fins to me. They're sort of in between an arm and a fin. Now, they do have little claws on the edges down here, so I suppose that does make them arms. I thought they had claws. Yeah, they do on this side. Looks like I didn't copy that over when I was getting out the reference model. So they do have little claws down there, so they're definitely arms. And we have the red fins along the back here with the red stripes that go down its the length of it. I'll give you a good overhead view. And down the back here, it's got a set of 4 tail fins back here. Well, it's really got 2 fins and sort of these streamer things that I saw on it. And it's got the frills along the edges on the top and the bottom here. And here's a view underneath. So that concludes today's tutorials. I think next time we will be tackling the Cyclops, along with the larger multi-purpose rooms and the very large hexagonal domed room that I've created. And I think probably the episode after that one, we will tackle the Neptune rocket. That'll probably be its own episode. I think to finish off, we will do the Atlas submarine. So that's what's coming up in the future. But for now, I hope you have enjoyed the tutorial so far. And thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.